One person was killed and 13 others, including children, were injured in a Russian strike on Zaporizhia on Tuesday. According to Associated Press, Regional Governor Ivan Fedorov reported that at least 10 strikes were launched on the city overnight, targeting civilian infrastructure. According to the State Emergency Service, a large-scale fire broke out at residential buildings. 78 rescuers and 17 pieces of equipment were deployed in the aftermath, Emergency Service reported.
W wyniku zdanych
Cel, który postawiłem, wiązał się z ćwiczeniem Zapad. Chodziło o utrzymanie naszej gotowości do reagowania w przypadku, gdyby ćwiczenie Zapad mogło wzorem poprzedniej edycji przekształcić się w różnego typu prowokacje, które mogły uderzać w nasze bezpieczeństwo. My nie chcemy, aby nasza wojna obronna wyglądała tak jak wojna Ukrainy i nie chcemy osiągać takich efektów. My musimy wygrać tę wojnę jak najmniejszym kosztem. Dlatego modelujemy tę walkę inaczej.
poznawczego wykrył kolumnę pojazdów przeciwnika i rozpoczął procedurę wezwania wsparcia ogniowego. Procedura realizowana jest...
Nasze działania, ćwiczenia, które dzisiaj prowadzimy, Żelazny Obrońca, są ćwiczeniami obronnymi, nie prowokacyjnymi wobec kogokolwiek, obronnymi, zdolności obronnych. I my z tych naszych działań nie zejdziemy. Mają też zadanie odstraszania tych, którym by przyszło do głowy atakować Polskę. Ta siła jest nam potrzebna, żeby nigdy nikomu Polski się nie opłacało zaatakować. Żeby nigdy nikomu nie opłacało się zaatakować państw NATO.
Ale to nie jest, ale dalej. Będzie blisko, to nie uszczęśliwisz.
W liczeniach Żelazny Obrońca. Raz, dwa, trzy, cztery. No to zaraz będziemy jeszcze.
Ukrainian forces are advancing into the Kursk region, turning what was once a defensive stand into a renewed cross-border push. These gains now open the path to outflank and encircle Russian positions from the north to crush the already overstretched enemy lines and reshape the dynamics of the entire front. Euromaidan press media outlet says a key factor behind this success has been the relentless Ukrainian airstrike campaign against Russian reinforcements and command centers across both Sumy and Kursk. This has created openings for Ukrainian ground units to press forward. Complementing airstrikes, Ukraine's drone campaign is inflicting devastating damage on Russian positions at the tactical level. Heavy drone platforms like the Vampire hexacopter are proving decisive, flying long-range night missions with payloads up to 20 kilograms. These drones are not just dropping improvised explosives, but carrying devastating ordnance, including anti-tank mines and a series of mortar rounds, which complicate Russian attempts to maneuver. Euromaidan press says, with Russian forces concentrated in Sumy and stretched thin after weeks of costly attacks and devastating airstrikes. Ukrainian commanders have again opted for tactical maneuvers rather than frontal attrition. Instead of smashing head-on into Russia's lines, they are methodically cutting off isolated groups, collapsing salients piece by piece, and pushing back into Kursk in the process. This strategy takes advantage of the area where settlements are small, scattered, and dispersed, making it easier to bypass and encircle Russian detachments rather than fight through each one in sequence. Ukrainian advances north of Kindrativka and into rural Kursk show this logic in action, turning the international border into little more than a reference line. In practice, the fighting forms a unified battle space where Ukraine's forces cross back and forth, exploiting Russian vulnerabilities while ignoring state boundaries that no longer reflect realities on the ground. The result is a steadily deteriorating situation for the Russian command, and what began as an attempt to push into Sumy has now backfired, with Ukraine not only halting the incursion but clawing back ground across the frontier. Russian infantry, deprived of supplies and hammered by Ukrainian air and drone strikes, cannot establish a coherent defense, and by advancing north, Ukraine is opening the possibility of flanking Russian troops, still holding pockets of territory in Sumy from behind, threatening their lines of retreat and accelerating their collapse. Euromaidan Press reports. Ukraine's steady progress highlights how momentum has shifted from a desperate defensive fight to prevent Russian forces from reaching Sumy city into an operation pushing enemy troops back into Kursk. The border itself is losing meaning in the chaos of battle, and Ukraine is now able to carry the fight onto Russian soil to disrupt the enemy's remaining footholds.
A group of soldiers from the occupying Russian army have been ambushed and destroyed in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. The footage was recorded and shared by a Russian soldier. As seen in the footage circulated on Telegram channels, the occupying soldiers, who were moving on motorcycles, were hit by Ukrainian forces and went up in flames along with their vehicles. Several UAZ brand vehicles were also destroyed.
Вот, ебучий комитет. Ну, бля, пиздец. Вот мины еще, блядь, гора мин лежит. Вот. Вот они прям.
Нас что там, 111 едет, узнай, пожалуйста.
Вот еще двое. Они прям пиздец. Вот тут мы достали Владоса отсюда. Ай, да я ебу, бля.
Мы пошли, что здесь хорошо. Не верю, брат. Вот помоги, оказывайте помощь. Брат, живи, выживай. Давай. Все, брат. Не верит, что здесь все хорошо. Техника убегали. Только что и мотоцикл, и машину.
Группа 2 майор, вот техника наша. Питеры сожгли нашу. Вот Ниву, которую мне давали, сгорела. И сейчас свой патриот покажу. Тоже сожгли. Где он? Дальше. А нет. Вон он стоял, только что.